good news.
Also dropped the vote.
Absolutely.
Time we get out and check the main here and see if it's okay.
Indeed, I understand, yes.
This one doesn't have.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the January 3rd, 2011 Washougal City Council meeting and ask you to please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the Constitution of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Forsberg, could you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Coaston? Present. Councilmember Shoemaker? Here. Councilmember McDaniel? Here. Councilmember Delavar?
Present.
Councilmember Greenlee?
Here.
Councilmember Morris?
Here.
And Councilmember Russell?
Here. Thank you. Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have one amendment. Request unanimous consent to move the council comments to immediately following the consent agenda.
Any objections?
Could I have an explanation as to why?
There are a couple of items which I think need to be discussed prior to the mayor's report and the CTRAN and RTC council appointments, and it would be an appropriate order at that point to be able to have the discussion first and then have the mayor's report, I think.
Okay. How about both places?
You want to take up just the one question on committee assignments and then come back to council comments?
I think Councilman Delavar moved to move the consent agenda, or move the council minutes before mayor's report. And if that's a motion, I would second it.
Any discussion?
Could you please repeat the motion?
Motion is to move the council comments, item number 9,
Okay.
to item number 7.
All right.
Other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Any other amendments to the agenda? David?
I'd like to pull number 3, agenda bill number 1-11 for discussion.
It'll become item number 11 right after public hearing. Any other amendments? Okay, seeing none, we're now at that point in the agenda for any comments from the public. Anyone that would like to address the council? Mr. Anderson.
May I stay here?
Absolutely.
Tom Anderson, 740 E Street. I understand that for the last 2 years, Camas has been providing the representation on the CTRAN board, and I understand that possibly that's going to continue another year. CTRAN has made a number of decisions over the last 2 years which have made it very difficult for its C-band riders, and I felt poorly represented by whoever was on it at that time. I would hope that the mayor and council would give consideration to taking our turn this year so that I would feel more represented. Oh, I'm sorry, wasn't I loud enough?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. I would hope that council would give consideration to possibly going for our representation this year so that someone I had a chance to vote for would be my representative on that board. Thank you for your input.
Thank you, Tom. Anyone else in the public wishing to speak? Henry, how are you?
Henry Gerhard, 5358 F Street, Washougal. I sent a letter to yourself, Mayor, and the board, the council this morning about an activity I'm trying to work on. I would like to see if I could organize to get a pathway built along the probably west side of Sunset View Road from the Sunset subdivision down to Evergreen. I've on more than one occasion come around the curves and found myself in the position perhaps of bowling for whoever's out there. It just doesn't seem safe. I noticed the city has reduced the speed limit, which I think was probably due to the safety aspects out there. As I say in the letter, I'd like to work with the city to put a pathway in the public right-of-way on the west side of the road. It's anywhere from plenty wide enough for a 6-foot path to maybe less than 4 feet in spots. I'm not looking for any, given the financial comments as I indicated in the letter, or financial conditions. I'm not looking for any revenue support or labor support from the city. About the only thing the city would need to get involved in is if they said I could go ahead, we'd develop some plans, develop a cost. The city staff, Trevor, could review those, perhaps come up with some creative suggestions on how to make it better. But we basically need the city to say, yes, it's a good concept, let's work on it. And then I think I can get it done in the next 6 to 9 months. So I would asking for the council and mayor's support to move forward on it.
Henry, thank you very much for bringing this forward. I know when we first built a home up by the new Camas High School, excuse me, there was a similar situation up there where, actually worse than what's out there, there were ditches on both sides. Popular high school everybody had to go to.
Well, at least you got a place to jump to.
Yeah. But that was even one where the school was in the county. The county had the road.
Right.
But the city was annexing the property, so nobody wanted to take jurisdiction of it. And same thing, we brought something like this forward, and the thing started out as a gravel path to begin with, and when it got asphalted, and now the kids have somewhere out there and the adults. So,
as I noted, right, I'm not envisioning something that would, as I said in the letter, 10 feet wide asphalt path meeting every standard, but it would be better than nothing.
something safer.
Yeah.
I appreciate the letter. We'll pass that along to Trevor and ask his staff to follow up with you on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other members of the public wishing to speak? Barbara.
I was going to walk over, but I don't think I will. I just want to add my voice to the comment that Tom made at the beginning of the meeting. I would like to see Washougal have representation on the C-Tran board this year. We have had some things happen and some changes made as to when transportation is available or what you have to do once you get there, like maybe standing outside in the cold.